Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Our news spoke to the mother of one of two Bahamian men who were found dead in the river in Italy.
The Deputy Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition butt heads during the budget debate.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Foreign affairs officials have confirmed that the body of a second Bahamian man, 28-year-old Blair John, has been discovered in Italy's largest river. The discovery came hours after the body of Bahamian diplomat, 29-year-old Al Ray Ramsey, was pulled from that river. John's devastated mother remembers her son as a humble, intelligent man. She says she believes he was killed because of the color of his skin. Jared Higgs reports.
Despite this brief lapse, the mother of 28-year-old Blair John was stoic as she described her reaction to the news of her son's death.
My family is deeply saddened. You can't imagine, but I know that, and I believe that Blair is comfortably resting in the arms of the Lord.
John, a PhD candidate at St. Mary's University in Canada, was visiting Italy for an academic presentation. That's where he reportedly met up with 29-year-old Al Ray Ramsey, a former Bahamian diplomat and a student at the Diplomatic Academy of Vienna. Italian authorities fished the bodies of both men from River Po in Turin, Italy, between Tuesday and Wednesday. Italian media first reported that Ramsey's body was discovered with a head injury that the coroner considers compatible with a fall. John's body was found several hours later, approximately 2 kilometers upstream. Ramsey's family members, who did not wish to be named, said they had not heard from him since Thursday and were shocked to learn of his death. Now, John's mother, 52-year-old Kathleen Ramming, remembered her son as a young man with massive career ambitions.
I'm disappointed, but I understand the will of God. I was looking forward to Blair being in a position to make me proud for a very long time.
Authorities in Italy say they are awaiting the results of autopsies on both men to determine whether foul play was involved in their deaths. Despite that, Ramming's gut tells her that her son was killed because of his skin color.
I am very disturbed. One of my questions is, what happened? Why were they targeted? Who did it? What did they gain by doing it? What could have caused somebody to do that to our sons?
Ramming says she first got wind that something wasn't right after she got a call from Ramsey's mother asking if she had heard from her son. When their dreaded reality set in, John's younger sister made the trip to Italy to find out more information. The woman says her 17-year-old son lost his role model.
He loved his brother. He loved his big brother. He looked up to his big brother. He wanted to be like his big brother. Blair set the pace for all of my children.
John's mother says he graduated from St. Augustine's College in 2009 and attended St. John's University and St. Thomas University in Minnesota. In a Facebook post published just 2 days before his disappearance, John announced that he was one step closer to being awarded a PhD. His mother says he has excelled since childhood.
I remembered one day putting my hand on his head, and I said to him, I'm going to call you Dr. Blair John. He was about 4-5 years old.
The 52-year-old mother of three said she was looking forward to the day she would see John walk across the stage for a final time. Instead, her son's body will cross the ocean when it is returned home.
The last conversation with Blair was on Wednesday, when he texted me and said, Mommy, I'm waiting to board the train to Turan. And I said to him, I plead the blood of Jesus over you. And may God give you great success in your endeavor. And I love you, my son.
Officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are reportedly in Italy, liaising with authorities in that country. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Haig.
Well, Foreign Affairs Minister Darren Henfield confirmed the tragic death of both Bahamian men in Italy while speaking in Parliament this morning. Henfield said Al-Ray Ramsey was a Foreign Service officer on study leave in Vienna, Austria, and John was a PhD candidate studying in Canada.
Officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs arrived in Turin, Italy today and met with the police officials. We can now confirm that the body pulled from the river was that of Mr. Al-Ray Ramsey, a Foreign Service officer who was on study leave in Vienna, Austria, and who visited Turin over the middle of last week. We've been in contact with the family of Mr. Ramsey and shared all the information that we have to date. We can also confirm that the body of the second Bahamian man that was pulled from the river Po in Turin was positively identified as that of Mr. Blair John.
Henfield also pleaded with the public to show compassion for their families instead of sharing false information on social media.
Information spreads rife on social media, and sometimes families, immediate family members, are not contacted, and they have to find this information that is going viral all over the country and all over the world. It is a very dangerous activity that people will be putting out information without concern for the care of those people personally affected, their family members.
In other news, the budget debate off to a heated start in the House of Assembly today as Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest accused the Christie administration of mishandling the country's finances. Jasmine Brown reports.
Turnquest made the loaded comments in Parliament today as he contributed to the budget debate. The opposition has been vocal about the Minister administration's latest budget, insisting it does nothing to enhance the lives of Bahamians who are still reeling from the 60% hike in value-added tax last year. Turnquest asserted that the last thing the Minister administration needs is advice from those who were part of an administration that he says flubbed the country's finances.
We are not prepared to take economic advice, fiscal, political, or government advice from the same people who led this country to 4 consecutive downgrades, down to junk bond status, our budgetary and fiscal affairs. I am simply not prepared to take your advice. Not from this junk bond crew.
The DPM also lashed out at opposition members for crying what he called crocodile tears for an economy he says they helped place in a wheelchair.
The Bahamian people are on to them and their fake concerns and crocodile tears. So whenever I hear the opposition trying to give us advice, Mr. Speaker, I have to remind them that they had their chance to manage this country's affairs, and they blew it. But now the same people who sat in cabinet then and were the architects of 4 consecutive downgrades and record deficits now want to give this government sound advice on fiscal matters.
His harsh assessment prompted opposition leader Philip Bragg Davis to quickly clap back.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I'm correcting him. I've asked him for point of order that the year 2012, 2013, the 2012-2013, the actual deficit was $545.2 million. Right, which, Mr. Speaker, do not include all the unpaid bills that we left in the drawers. Right, we could talk. Honorable member. Yes, honorable member.
In addition to lashing out at the former PLP administration, the DPM also defended the 2019-2020 budget, saying it is a budget that is inspirational and empowering. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Attorney Brian Moree is set to become the country's next Chief Justice. Cabinet Office announced in a statement that the Prime Minister, following consultation with the opposition leader, has advised Governor General Dame Marguerite Pindling to appoint Moree as Chief Justice effective June 12th. Moree, who was a senior partner in McKinney, Bancroft and Hughes law firm, was long rumored to be government's pick for the substantive post after Chief Justice Stephen Isaacs died last year. This announcement follows months of criticism from the Bahamas Bar Association, which slammed the delay in appointing a substantive Chief Justice. Well, on the heels of a hotel union strike vote, the association representing hotel properties has branded recent comments by the Hotel, Catering and Allied Workers Union as misleading and dishonest. Jillian Gray reports.
After weeks of silence, the Bahamas Hotel Employers Association finally responded to reports in the media that they were not negotiating with the Bahamas Hotel Union. Today, the association's president called the hotel union's behavior unprofessional and irresponsible.
For the union to advise their membership and the public that the industry had not shown a willingness to negotiate was at best misleading and at worst blatantly dishonest.
When union officials received the BHEA's proposal, they burned it, calling that document unacceptable. Of major concern was the fact that the proposal seemed to be backpedaling on several long-standing benefits, including the 15% gratuity payment that restaurant employees are currently paid. However, Miller insisted that was a non-issue, adding that, as with any negotiation, both sides present a document, then come to the table to discuss.
That there has been a deliberate attempt to stir up sentiments around issues that simply do not exist. Case in point, the removal of the 15% gratuity. This is not a part of the BHEA's proposal. Apparently, the union made an uninformed assumption and chose to mislead their membership.
The association's president said the reason the union has been without an industrial agreement for so long is because union leaders failed to submit a proposal when the previous agreement expired in 2013. He furthered that once that proposal was received in December 2018, the BHEA wrote to the union stating that a counter-proposal would be submitted by April. According to Miller, he was taken back by the union's decision to file a trade dispute, even though that April deadline was met. Miller explained that negotiations have not officially begun because the association's lead negotiator, Michael Rackley, could not meet until June 27th.
The union issued a letter proposing negotiations commence on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of June 2019, ignoring the fact that these dates were already precluded due to Mr. Rackley's unavailability. Again, at best, it is disingenuous, and at its worst, it is an attempt to undermine good faith negotiations.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
1 week after the sister of Centerville MP Reese Chipman shouted accusations at members of Parliament and was escorted out of the House of Assembly, House Speaker Housen Moultrie has announced new rules regarding cell phones in Parliament. Though members of Parliament, the media and government officials would be allowed to bring cell phones into Parliament, visitors will not.
No stranger would be permitted to bring a cell phone into the chamber of this Parliament without first receiving permission from the Speaker via the clerk of this Parliament. Under no circumstance should any recording of the proceedings of this Parliament by cell phone be broadcast without first receiving clearance from the presiding officer of the Parliament.
Fontella Chipman Roll threw off her jacket to reveal a shirt that read #ChipmanStrong and hurled white wristbands bearing those words onto the floor of the House. Chipman Roll was taken into police custody. Moultrie said police have taken witness statements.
The chairman and presiding officer of the Parliament having given a statement to the Royal Bahamas Police Force on yesterday, and the clerk of this Parliament having given a statement to the police on yesterday, and the police indicating that they intend to take two further statements, a statement from the member for Golden Gates, where one of the missiles that were thrown landed on the desk, and a statement from the member for Michael.
Still to come, the Agriculture Minister defends his ministry's sizable budget increase. Stay tuned.